Hello and welcome to another episode of MNM Mindset and Muscle. This video we're going to kind of break into a two-part here. So we're going to film a quad workout B. So this will be the last of the workouts that I have yet to cover for you guys, going over all the exercises and explaining it. Afterwards, I'm going to be doing a grocery haul of full grocery shopping. So we will post this video of the quad day on Tuesday, and then Thursday you will get to see the full grocery haul. I'll explain everything I buy, why I buy it. You can see how I bodybuild on a good budget, especially with the crazy prices of inflation. I know it could be helpful to a lot of you guys to realize you can get high quality, good tasting food that is 100% productive for your bodybuilding goals without breaking the bank. So in this first portion of the video, part one, we are going to cover that quad workout B, so the last leg workout. Then I think I'll have gone over all of the workouts in my current split. As always, if you would like to follow along with my workouts in an editable spreadsheet where you can track your sets and reps and weight and all of that, you can check out my website. Link is in the description below. The Grow With Me program keeps track of all of the exercises I'm doing, the meal plan that I'm on right now down to the gram, and anytime I make updates or changes, it will notify you of what changes I did so you can follow along with me as my virtual training partner. As always, if you do follow along with that plan, you do get 24/7 email access to me as well, so you can let me know anytime you need to make slight adjustments to either the training plan or the nutrition plan so that it suits you and your goals as well. So check that out if you get a chance. But for now, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in to today's quad workout. All right, let's jump into quad day B, number 2. So calves start out exactly the same as quad day A. We start with the standing calf raise. I'll just go ahead and show you guys again though so you can really see the tempo and the form to get the maximal range of motion and growth out of the calves. Make sure you're coming all the way up as high as you can. Flex and pause briefly at the top. Slowly and controlledly lower the weight into a deep full stretch. When I can't get any more with a full range of motion, I'll drop into the full stretch and just go halfway up to really burn out the calves. The repetitions never get bouncy. You'll notice here I'm coming about halfway up and then exploding up onto the top of my toes, but I'm not just doing any short bouncy repetitions. Everything is about flexing the calves and stretching the calves and keeping the tension where it belongs. After that, we moved on to some seated leg press calf raises. We did 3 sets there, finishing with a drop set on the final set before moving on to our quad exercises. So the first quad exercise we did is the single leg extension. I love starting out with this because it really gets a good mind to muscle connection going on the quads and really helps you warm up the knees and pre-exhaust so that you're able to feel the compound movements better and target the muscle. So nice and controlled, coming up to the top, squeezing for a second, and then coming down into that full stretch at the bottom. So this is a fantastic isolation movement. You definitely don't want to go too heavy on this, and you always want to control the repetition. You can really screw up your knees if you try and go too heavy and just flail around with the weight, and you're not going to be maximally stimulating the quads as well. We just do one warm-up set here and then one working set. Again, this is more of a feeler exercise for me before moving into the heavy compound exercises. So while we are focusing on slowly, progressively overloading, I'm not as worried about going super heavy, maxing out, or PRing on this machine. It's all about the feel. It's all about stimulating the quads and getting them woken up for the exercises to follow. The reason I like this single leg machine is it keeps everything very even as well. So if your gym has one, I highly suggest you take advantage of it. If you don't, you can use a dual leg, a traditional leg extension machine, and just do one leg at a time. The only downside with this is sometimes over time the pad does get a little bit tilted and the feeling is a little bit different from one leg to the other. Same thing on the other leg, nice and controlled eccentric. Squeeze and pause at the top. This is not an explosive movement. This is a squeeze movement. Squeeze the weight up, hold at the top, control down to the bottom. Constant tension on the quads. I also like to go slightly higher repetition here. There's not really a point of doing 6 to 8 reps on leg extension, as the amount of weight that you would need to do to achieve that successfully, for me, would be maxing out the machine. But even if it wasn't maxing out the machine, that can result in some knee strain. So after this, quads were nice and pumped. We moved on to our first of the compound movements, which was the hack squat. So this is the workout B. Workout A, we did a belt squat. Workout B, we do the hack squat. So we'll do 3 working sets here. So 2 warm-ups and then 3 working sets. We started off with the heaviest set, aiming for 8 to 10 repetitions, very, very close to failure. The second set, we lightened up a little bit and aimed for 12 to 15 repetitions. Again, very close to or reaching failure. This is the second set here. So not super heavy, just focusing on nice and controlled movement. We're aiming for a 4 count negative on every single rep before squeezing up to the top, squeezing the quads, keeping everything engaged and under control. And then the third set is 15 to 20 repetitions. So we're pyramiding down in weight and up in repetitions. Every single set we're taking close to or to failure. I've absolutely loved the results that I've gotten from doing these. We've only gone through, I believe, 3 times now. This is the 4th time on quad workout B. And it's just absolutely brutal. By the time you're doing the 20 rep set to failure at the end, you're just so gassed. But the results are totally worth it. And it is an excellent mental test of fortitude as well. So we're close to failure right here. And still grinding it out. See if I get 1 or 2 more reps in me. Yep, nope, and we reached failure there. So after that, we moved on to the leg press. Workout A, we do the single leg press. Workout B, we do dual leg press. So this is all about range of motion and reps. So focusing on high repetitions here, we're doing 2 sets. The first set, we're aiming for 30 to 40 reps. And the second set is 40 to 50 repetitions. So very high reps, pumping the quads, focusing on getting that full range of motion and that constant tension. This is the second set right here. This leg press machine was sticky, which was a little annoying, but at the same time, it just made me annoyed and aggressive. So I was able to use that frustration and channel it into absolutely killing the set. And because it was sticky, it actually targeted my legs in a way that I wasn't used to. So I got some additional soreness and hopefully some additional growth, having to power through that sticking point. On the way up at the bottom, it would take a second for me to get that weight started. But fantastic, very basic bread and butter exercise here. The majority thing that you're trying to focus on with the leg press is that you are using a good range of motion. So that means you're bringing your legs down as far as you can without your butt curling up off of the back seat. You always want your back to be pressed into that lower back pad, keeping everything nice and safe, but at the same time using a good range of motion. I see so many people ego lifting on this machine, putting 8, 9, 10 plates on a side, and then just doing half range of motion, not even going to 90-degree angle bend in their legs, doing these short, choppy, explosive reps. And then I have to wonder what they're thinking, what their logic is, because they've got toothpicks for legs. If you're leg pressing 10 plates aside and you have skinny legs, you have to logically realize that something is going wrong. at least if your goal is leg growth and not just moving the weight from point A to point B. So think logically, study the bodybuilders who have large legs, what they do to get those, especially those who have started out with genetically poor legs. For myself, it's taken me a long time to begin to fill out my legs. They still have a long way to go, but they're progressing rapidly now. But because I am a taller individual, that was always a point for me. Our last exercise for quads was the split squat on the Smith machine. We did 2 pyramid sets building up in weight, and the final set was a brutal drop set where we did 3 plates on each side, 3 10-pound plates on each side. We did 15 repetitions on each leg. Then we dropped down to 2 plates, straight into 15 repetitions on each leg. 1 plate, 15 repetitions on each leg. This was all done back to back to back with no rest. So an absolute cardio and mental test as well as physical test. With the setup, you'll want to set up a bench or a box behind you so that you're comfortably able to get the top of your back foot resting on the bench and get a good stretch on the front of the leg without your knee coming too far over your toes for this exercise. That can be done absolutely safely. For this, I much prefer to have my knee right about over the top of my toes. I'm able to feel my quads that much better with it as well. And you'll also notice my range of motion here is fairly short. And for me, this is to keep constant tension on my legs. Since I do have longer legs, the top half range of motion, all the tension comes off my legs and goes on to my glutes and my lower back. My joints are stacked. My shoulders are on top of my back is on top of my hips, and the weight is pushing straight down and not really causing any tension on the quads. So doing them this way, I'm able to really build up that deep burn and that deep pump to absolutely crush the legs without letting tension off of them. So this was, I believe, the second round here. We're down to 2 10-pound plates on each side, going for the 15 repetitions on each leg. At this point, I'm getting pretty gassed, so you'll notice I'm standing up as needed sometimes, shaking out my legs for a second, and then as soon as I know I'm ready to mentally and physically dive back into the set, I am. So give this a try if you're really looking to change things up. If you are going to do this, I suggest you finish with it. All right, I hope you found that workout helpful and informative. As always, any questions you have about the workout, leave them down in the comments section below, and I will be happy to answer them. So speaking of questions, let's shift into the mindset portion and answer a couple of your questions that I got over the weekend. Proper water intake, hydration is absolutely essential to bodybuilding. First of all, you have to realize that your muscle is like over 70% water, which is stored inside the muscle. So if those muscle cells are depleted of water, they're not going to be as full, they're not going to perform nearly as well, and your body in general just is not going to be able to absorb, digest, and process the nutrients nearly as well. When you work out, when you do cardio, any of that, you're going to be sweating a lot. People who are dehydrated, it tends to be easier to overeat or consume sugary beverages with calories just because they want to get something in their mouth, not even realizing perhaps that they're dehydrated and their body really wants fluid. So it is essential to be hydrated. If you're looking for an exact number, I generally recommend at least a gallon for people who are very active. This does depend some on your size and how active you are. A gallon is a good place to start. If you're, let's say, a smaller woman who's not super active, you can probably back it down a little bit from that. If you are a large male who is very active, then you'll want to increase that as needed. For me personally, I'm usually somewhere between 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of water a day. Another good marker to make sure that you are hydrated is basically your pee. If you go to the bathroom and it is mostly clear, like a very light yellow, you know you're in a good place. If it's a darker yellow color, then you are dehydrated. You need to be drinking more. Another important factor and reason to stay hydrated is scientific studies have shown that even if you're just slightly dehydrated, just a few percentages dehydrated, your performance goes drastically down very, very quickly. So especially before the gym and after the gym, it is very, very important to get your water in and make sure you're hydrated so you can get those progressive overload repetitions in and know you killed your workout to the absolute max. You realize that blood is also a lot of water, so if you want to maximize that pump, you got to maximize that hydration as well. So this is a good question. So for me, I like to keep track of weight once a week, same day. Make sure that you are not weighing yourself after a cheat meal or a cheat day, because obviously you're going to be holding some water retention there. So whatever day is before your treat meal is typically when I like to weigh myself. And I would suggest weighing yourself first thing in the morning. Wake up, go to the bathroom, step on the scale before you drink anything. That's going to give you the most consistent weight, because based on how much you eat or drink, how intense your workout is, all of these factors can result in a fluctuation of weight. Now, if you are getting into a contest prep and are very serious about that, then you can weigh yourself every day or every other day, something a little bit more specific. But you have to remember that your body can adjust. Especially females or larger males, their body weight tends to fluctuate day to day just based on hormonal changes, how much water retention they may have, inflammation, all of that. All of those are factors. So as long as you're weighing yourself once a week and you're trending in the right direction over, say, a month, so from 1 week to the next week, you might only have lost half a pound. But over a month, you might have lost 6 pounds, which means you're averaging 1.5 pounds a week, which is amazing if your goal is weight loss. So yeah, once a week, every month, just make sure you're trending in the right direction. If not, that's when you can make adjustments. If you really need an extra eye on how to make those adjustments or make sure you are trending in the right direction, losing body fat and not muscle, looking into a competent coach or fitness professional who can help you monitor all of that and get you in the fastest, most successful progress towards your goals. All right, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Tune in for part 2 on Thursday, as we will be going over the full day of grocery shopping, breaking all of that down for you. But in the meantime, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will look forward to seeing you in Thursday's video.